Do you know what? Do you know what Savanah Hernandez does? She does fantastic reporting. She joins us on the line now. What's up, Sav?
Hey, Chris. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so we had you on last week, I think it was, and we were talking about your big Jackson Hewitt story, which has garnered a little bit more attention, and there's going to be a bit of follow-up, correct?
Yes, so it has been announced by Jackson Hewitt that they are actually going to be investigating this franchise location that was handing out the flyers to migrants, telling them how they could potentially get up to $14,000 in tax refunds. So I'm happy that they actually responded to this and are looking into it.
But do we believe that Jackson Hewitt is going to honestly investigate Jackson Hewitt? I mean, that seems a little bit sus to me. Can we rehash the story, exactly how it happened and how it went down before we kind of get into the follow-up? You were down there doing some reporting, and you stumbled upon this table and found the Jackson Hewitt employees signing illegals up for tax refunds?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. I'm in New York City, and I was over there because, of course, their migrant crisis is out of hand. I'm outside of one of the biggest migrant hotels in New York, the Roosevelt Hotel. Stumble upon this guy that's tabling, find out he works for Jackson Hewitt, and he gives me a paper that he ends up taking away from me once he finds out I'm a journalist. And the reason he took that paper away is because, again, they were offering these illegal immigrants $7,000 to up to $14,000 in tax refunds by claiming their children. Now, it's funny because Newsweek is actually who wrote the article and was able to get a response from Jackson Hewitt. I wasn't, unfortunately. And in their article, they were saying, well, you know, tax credits are typically restricted to people with a Social Security number. So that's why this story was so big, because after this broke, after I caught this employee essentially trying to coach migrants on how to receive tax refunds, Elon Musk also came out that next day and highlighted how in 2024, almost 2.1 million non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out to the illegal immigrants that made their way into the United States of America. And again, just to rehash those numbers, Chris, because I feel like I didn't do it full justice last time. In 2021, Doge and Elon Musk found out that a little over 250,000 non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out. Let's go to 2022. It's over 500,000 at that point. 2023, you're at 1 million, and then by 2024, it's 2.1 million. So overall, we are uncovering that about 4 million non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out by the government to the illegal aliens that have come into this country, and that's just what we know of. So that's why this story blew up.
Yeah, it's insane. What are the implications of an illegal alien having a Social Security number?
I mean, they have access to government benefits, they have access to tax refunds, and the left wing loves to say, well, illegal immigrants are an essential part of the economy because they pay taxes and they account for a large part of, the taxes that we collect. No, we need to clean this country up, Chris. And to be quite honest with you, what we saw over the last 4 years was not illegal immigrants paying into the tax system, but instead our taxpayer dollars being utilized to shelter, to give free medical care, free transportation to, and free food, and a variety of various other, benefits to these illegal immigrants. I mean, these people were on food stamps, for crying out loud. So it's just hilarious because this has been an argument from the left for so long that illegal immigrants are beneficial to the economy, but the past 4 years really just completely destroyed that narrative because we saw billions of our taxpayer dollars go toward funding a free lifestyle for these people.
Oh, and we also saw our own American kids being kicked out of school so they could be turned into migrant shelters when it was too cold. I mean, we could go down a list of just atrocities that have been committed against the American people via the open border assault and invasion. So then Jackson Hewitt comes out. They're called out by your reporting. You put them on blast, and they had to say something. So did they release an official statement?
They did. A spokesperson spoke to Newsweek. Like I said, I reached out to them myself, and their PR email, the public PR email for media to reach out to, bounced back, so it didn't even work.
Weird.
I reached out to their X account. I know. I reached out to their X account, never got a response, but somehow a Newsweek journalist was able to get a response. They did give an official statement to Newsweek. But it's funny because they had interviewed a financial analyst or a financial expert alongside with this statement. And his name's Michael Ryan. He basically says, what strikes me about Jackson Hewitt's response is what they're not saying. They're hiding behind compliance with tax code without addressing whether their franchisees are actively marketing potentially misleading refund amounts. So they had a financial expert. That was his takeaway from their statement. Their statement was very corporate. It was very, we require everyone to file correct tax returns and to comply with U.S. tax code. But clearly this isn't happening. And to your initial question as well, Chris, do we expect Jackson Hewitt to actually investigate Jackson Hewitt? I actually do think they may look into this. And that is because, like I said on our last interview, back in 2007, the DOJ actually did sue them because their employees at a Chicago franchise location ended up costing the IRS $70 million due to tax fraud. And keep in mind, none of that money was ever returned. So Jackson Hewitt already has come under fire multiple times for their employees committing tax fraud in 2019. I believe this was a Texas-based employee who was stealing customers' information. There were allegedly thousands of victims of this. She was making fake driver's licenses, Social Security cards with people's real information. So Jackson Hewitt has had a long and sordid history with tax fraud, so I do see them potentially trying to get ahead of this and fixing the problem because they have had run-ins with the DOJ. Simultaneously, let's not forget what our conversation was about the current DOJ on our last interview as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of moving parts to this, Chris.
So all right, you keep saying franchise, all right? Like is Jackson Hewitt operated in a similar way that McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A would be operated, where you're having different owners at different locations just operating under the Jackson Hewitt umbrella? Is that kind of what I'm gathering?
Yes, so that's what's happening right now, and what is going on is you have rogue employees that use the Jackson Hewitt name and use the franchise locations to essentially commit tax fraud. And keep in mind, Jackson Hewitt should have a better handle on this because they are the second largest tax filing company in the United States of America. But again, I think that this, if anything, kind of highlights how easy it is to commit tax fraud because, again, the United States is a huge country. This is a very large-scale operation. So why is it that we do not have the DOJ making sure that laws are being complied with and followed? Why is it that, oh, no, the IRS accidentally lost $70 million and we can't get it back? Hopefully this doesn't happen again. What are we doing to ensure that there's actually consequences to breaking federal law?
Right? Honestly. Hey, I have a question for you. Who are you more disappointed in? Is it the DOJ or is it Amy Coney Barrett?
Oh, man, Chris, you're putting me on the spot today. I hate to say it. I love women. I am a woman. But why is it that when we put women in these leadership roles, time and time again, the toxic empathy thing keeps coming into play and their decisions end up impacting the rest of the country? That's kind of what I have seen with Pam Bondi and with Amy Coney Barrett. I feel like when push comes to shove and it's time to be hardline and it's time to get things done and it's time to make hard decisions, the more emotional, hey, well, we're going to make some statements and we're going to try to be nice and we're going to try to tell people, like, don't do that. And hopefully we fix the country that way.
All right. You said toxic empathy. Can you explain that term a little bit more?
Absolutely. I did an entire show on this week. This is a toxic empathy definition is essentially empathy, so much empathy that we're overlooking bad behavior that negatively impacts society or the country or the culture. And that is what we are seeing time and time again. The best example that I can come up with is all of the criminals that continually are let out of jail because we look at them and for some reason the left wing and females will look at these people and say, well, yeah, sure, that guy stabbed a tourist on the street of New York, but what happened in his life that led him to make that decision? Okay, sure, this homeless guy is addicted to drugs, but what happened in his life that put him in this situation? We always want to have so much compassion that it has led us to a point of decay because now crime and lawlessness are running our country because, quite frankly, we've been too nice.
Do you think that this is really mainly a problem of the left, or do you think that the right suffers from this a little bit as well?
I think we can very clearly see that this is a left and right wing issue, Chris. And like I said, too, I hate to have to say it, but it is very much true. And, I think women are very emotional creatures. God made us to be emotional, and that is an incredible thing. That's our strength, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I feel like in leadership positions, oftentimes that's weaponized, and the country has to pay the price for perhaps a decision that is made and based in emotion as opposed to law and order and logic. So that is my 2 cents on it, and I do think that this is clearly a left and right wing issue.
I love the term toxic empathy. I'm stealing it, and I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm not gonna give you credit. I'm gonna go full Dom Lucre. I just want to let you know.
No, it's okay. That's actually I think Allie Beth Stuckey I might have stole that one from her. So
all right,
you know
perfect.
what?
Perfect.
There we go. Steal it from me. I stole it from her.
Secondhand theft. I love it. I love it. What's a big news story that the American people aren't paying enough attention to, Sev?
Good question. What are we focused on today?
We're focused on tariffs and we're focused on the stock market, but I think that there's a lot of other things going on, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of other things going on. And like you said, the tariffs and economy have taken over. But of course, my main focus is and always will be on the mass deportation issue. That is always going to be my most important thing. The DHS this week came out and said that they're going to be fining illegal immigrants $998 a day for not, self-deporting essentially. My focus, however, is in on the still very low deportation numbers. I know Kristi Noem got a lot of flack this week because she has been putting out a lot of social media videos, which in essence at first was like, okay, cool, this is a very transparent admin. We can talk to them on social media. Now it's kind of like, cool, we see the videos, but where are the numbers? Where are we at? How are we going to actually enact these mass deportations? Because as of now, we're coming up to that 100-day mark of Donald Trump's administration, and we have not seen that happen yet. So that's my focus.
One of the big things that I've noticed, or the lack thereof, when it comes to the mass deportations, and it's been highlighted with our China trade war going on, but I haven't seen any stories of Chinese nationals being deported. And we do know that there are a lot of illegal Chinese nationals in this country. We understand what the Chinese have been doing in this country in terms of secret police stations and monitoring their own citizens for dissidents and all the like, buying up farmland near military bases. We could go on and on and on. Am I missing the mass deportations of Chinese nationals, or is that just not happening?
Honestly, Chris, I think that we have very much misplaced the priority of who needs to be deported in this country. I'm happy to see that we're going after, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, a lot of those high-level people. But at the same time, you're right. We need mass deportations of, these foreign entities that have truly come into the United States and infiltrated, quite frankly. I have not seen the mass deportations of these Chinese nationals. I'm actually about to release a clip today about what New York still looks like, completely overwhelmed and flooded with illegal immigrants. I'm sure many of which are MS-13. They actually do have a big MS-13 problem. I think it's in either the Brooklyn or the Bronx area, one of the two. But, yeah, we're not really seeing that. There is a lot of focus right now on college campuses, which, look, I'm happy when anybody who should not be in this country and has expressed anti-Western values is deported. Incredible. Yep. Simultaneously, like you're saying, it really does seem like China is and has always been the main focus of Donald Trump. So you would think that deporting these Chinese nationals as well would be something that we are potentially looking into, especially as the Chinese have bought up so much farmland in the United States of America. We know the influence that China has on Hollywood, on our own culture. We know the influence China has via TikTok over our own youth. So I kind of hope and wish that we would, make that more of a priority, but I am not seeing it. And again, I hate to blackpill, Chris, but also we are coming up on 100 days, and we're not seeing the high-level arrests we were promised. We're not really seeing those mass deportation numbers. So I'm really hoping we start seeing more movement. What
grade would you give the first 100 days currently?
Maybe a C, Chris. Maybe a B. You know what? I don't know. Maybe a B or C.
I was thinking B plus personally. B plus-ish. B plus. But I could understand your argument for a C.
It's because because RFK Jr. just came out and promoted the measles vaccine or the MMR vaccine, which we were really surprised about, but I think he actually did come out in an interview and clarify that statement. But I think as of now, the admin is trying to get their footing. They're trying to get their messaging across. But again, I would like to see more action. You're right. I would say more of a B. And it's a B because of Donald Trump, right? I feel like the admin hasn't been the best, but Donald Trump has been very strong on a lot of things, but he can only sign so many executive orders. We do need Congress, and we do need other members of his admin, the Attorney General, all of these other people who are also supposed to be involved. We need them to move as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Savanah Hernandez, she has another clip dropping today about the current state of New York. Where can we find that clip? What time are you dropping it? Where can we see this?
So it's going to be on my X account at SavSays. So go check it out. And yep, Chris, I will be keeping my eye on all of these moving parts and issues happening in the U.S.
Hey, we appreciate you joining the show, Sav. As always, Savanah Hernandez, Frontlines reporter for Turning Point USA, one of the best investigative journalists in the country, if not the best. Thank you for joining the show, as always, Sav.
Thanks, Chris.